The cemetery looked like a small city. There were white tents, black cars, and uniformed security guards at every corner. Guests wore clean black clothes. Women looked classy, in modern Nigerian dresses and neat hairstyles. Men wore sharp suits. Cameras from news stations waited outside the gate. A golden casket stood above an open grave. The plate on it read, Chioma Nwoke. Chioma's husband, Emeka Okoro, stood in front. His face looked sad, but his eyes kept moving around like he was watching a clock. He held a folded white handkerchief. Beside him stood Chief Nwoke, Chioma's father, and Mrs. Nwoke, the stepmother. Auntie Ifeoma, Chioma's mother's sister, stood a little away from them with a stiff face. She looked angry and worried at the same time. A nanny sat on a bench with Anna, 8, and Chidi, 5. The children did not understand what was going on. They looked confused and scared. A man in a dark suit tried to invite a pastor to speak. Emeka raised a hand. No pastors, he said. This is a private ceremony. Keep it short. Auntie Ifeoma turned quickly. Why no pastor? She asked. This is not normal. Emeka forced a smile. It was Chioma's wish. That is not true, Auntie Ifeoma said. The staff from Nwoke Holdings stood in a group. Some were crying, some were whispering to each other. The grave workers held the ropes that would lower the casket. The master of ceremonies cleared his throat. We will begin now. Wait, Auntie Ifeoma said. We need a prayer. No, Emeka said again, louder. Please continue. The grave workers moved. The ropes tightened. The casket shifted. There was a sudden shout from the back of the crowd. Stop this burial! Everyone turned. A thin man in dirty clothes ran forward. His beards were rough. His shirt was torn. Security guards tried to block him, but he kept coming. Stop! He shouted again, breathing hard. My name is Ikena. Do not lower that casket. People gasped. Some laughed. Some stepped back from the smell of the street on him. Anna held the nanny's arm. Chidi hid his face. Emeka's jaw tightened. Remove him, he said to the guards. Now. Ikena raised his hands. Please, listen to me. Chioma is not dead. The entire place went silent. 2 guards grabbed Ikena's arms. He did not fight. He kept talking loudly. I heard something by accident, he said. I sleep under the old bridge near the highway. I was there last night. A big car stopped near me. I did not move because people chased me away. 2 men were talking inside. One was Emeka. The other was an old man. They talked about this funeral. They said no pastor should come near the casket. They said if a pastor prays, the magic will break. The word magic made the crowd murmur. Several phones lifted higher. A few guests covered their mouths. Auntie Ifeoma stepped closer to Ikena. What old man? She asked. A witch doctor, Ikena said. He said the casket must be closed fast. He said no church, no pastor, no anointing. He warned that if the body is touched by a pastor, everyone will see the truth. Emeka laughed, but it sounded weak. This man is mad, he said. Take him out. Chief Nwoke looked at Emeka. Why did you refuse a pastor? He asked. Emeka looked firm. Because this is a private choice, he said. We should respect the dead. Auntie Ifeoma shook her head. Which dead? She asked. I want a prayer now. Madam, one guard said to Ikena, we are dragging him out. Stop, Chief Nwoke said. He looked at the children. He looked at the casket. He looked at his wife. Let us confirm. We will not bury my daughter in confusion. Mrs. Nwoke frowned and touched Emeka's arm. Do not allow this, she whispered. But the microphone caught the sound. People nearby heard it. Eyes turned to her. Call Pastor Daniel, Auntie Ifeoma said to a relative. Right now, Emeka raised his voice. Absolutely not. We follow the plan. What plan? A staff member asked from the crowd. Sir, you told us no church and to hurry. Voices rose. Security tried to push people back. The master of ceremonies asked for order, but no one listened. The grave workers put the ropes down and stepped away from the casket. Ikenna spoke again, steady and clear. If you allow a pastor to pray, you will see what is inside. If you do not, you will bury a lie. Anna stood up from the bench. She stared at the casket. Is mommy inside? She asked in a small voice. Auntie Ifeoma's face broke. We will find out, my dear, she said. We will find out right now. A car rushed through the gates. Pastor Daniel was on his way, but no one knew yet. At the gravesite, people argued in small groups. Some said Ikenna was mad. Others said his voice sounded honest. Security tried to make a path, but the crowd kept pushing forward. Emeka walked to Chief Nwoke. He spoke softly, but the microphones picked up his words. Sir, please, let us finish. This is painful for everyone. Chief Nwoke stared at the casket. His hands shook. I do not understand why my daughter was buried without a normal church service, he said. This is not our way. Even rich people pray. It was fast because of the condition of the body, Emeka said. The doctor advised it. What doctor? Auntie Ifeoma asked loudly. I did not see any doctor's report. Mrs. Nwoke stepped forward. Her face was hard. Her hair was neat and shiny. Her black dress was new and expensive. This man is dirty, she said, pointing at Ikenna. He wants money. I do not want money, Ikenna said. I want the truth. I heard Emeka and the witch doctor. They said no pastor should come because a pastor will expose the trick. They said they used charms. People gasped again. A few laughed nervously, but many faces turned to Emeka with doubt. The nanny held Anna and Chidi close. Emeka lifted his hand. Enough, he said. Lower the casket. No one touches that casket, Auntie Ifeoma said. Not until Pastor Daniel arrives. Who invited him? Emeka snapped. I did, Auntie Ifeoma said. I am her aunt. Chief Nwoke took a breath. We will wait, he said. We will do this right. Emeka stared at him. Anger flashed in his eyes, and then disappeared. He forced a sad look. He turned away. A siren sounded at the gate as a police patrol entered to keep order. The officers stood at a distance, watching. One officer spoke quietly into a radio. The master of ceremonies tried to calm everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand back. We will take a short pause. A black SUV stopped near the tent. The door opened. Pastor Daniel stepped out in a simple dark suit. He walked in, calm and steady. The crowd moved aside. Emeka clenched his jaw. Mrs. Nwoke pressed her lips together. Auntie Ifeoma exhaled for the first time in minutes. Good afternoon, Pastor Daniel said. Who is in charge here? Auntie Ifeoma pointed at the casket. Please, Pastor, she said. Pray and anoint. We need to know the truth. Pastor Daniel stood by the golden casket. He looked at the family and at the guests. I will pray for peace first, he said. He bowed his head. God, bring truth. Bring calm. Bring protection. His voice was steady. The wind seemed to slow. People became quiet. He opened a small bottle of anointing oil. Emeka stepped forward quickly. No, he said. We will not open anything. We will not pour anything. Pastor Daniel did not argue. He looked at Chief Nwoke and Auntie Ifeoma. Do I have permission? He asked. You have my permission, Chief Nwoke said. You have mine, Auntie Ifeoma added. Mrs. Nwoke grabbed Emeka's arm. Stop him, she whispered. Security looked unsure. Police officers moved closer but did not interfere. The master of ceremonies lowered his microphone. Pastor Daniel touched the casket with the oil. He prayed in simple words. Then, he nodded to the grave workers. "Please, open the lid," he said. The workers glanced at Emeka. He said nothing. They slowly opened the casket. People leaned forward. Phones went up. What they saw made the crowd shout. Inside the casket, under a white cloth, was not a human body. It was a fresh banana tree log, caught and wrapped in burial clothes. Makeup had been brushed on the smooth wood where a face should be. Cloth hands were tied around a smaller piece of wood. A woman screamed. Another fainted. Guests stepped back fast. Police looked shocked. Grave workers jumped away. The nanny covered Anna's eyes. Chidi began to cry. Pastor Daniel did not move back. He kept praying. "Truth has come," he said. He turned to Emeka. "Explain this." Emeka froze. His mouth opened and closed. Then his face twisted. He pointed at Mrs. Nwoke. "She pushed me," he blurted out. "She kept saying I must act. She said a fast burial would end the questions. She said the family would support it if it looked clean." Gasps spread through the tent. Mrs. Nwoke jerked her arm away from him. "Lies!" she shouted. Her eyes were wide. "I never told you to do a crime. I said we should avoid noise. I did not plan this. You did this, Emeka." "You told me to finish it quickly," Emeka snapped. "You said, no pastor, no church, keep it quiet." "I said we should not make a scene," she fired back, voice shaking. "I did not tell you to use a log. I did not tell you to hide Chioma. Do not put your hands on me. Do not use my name." The crowd turned from one to the other like a wave. Auntie Ifeoma stepped forward and pointed at the casket. "Where is Chioma?" she demanded. "Where is my sister's child?" Ikenna spoke up, stronger now. "She is alive. She is hidden." The witch doctor helped them. He said no pastor should touch the casket, or the trick would fail. Pastor Daniel faced Emeka again. "Take us to him," he said. "Now." Emeka tried to step away. 2 police officers blocked him. "Sir, you will come with us," one said. "We will confirm everything." The tent buzzed with anger and fear. The open casket lay before everyone like a loud alarm. Mrs. Nwoke stood stiff, breathing hard, denying with her lips, but not calming the crowd. Emeka's shoulders dropped. There was no way to hide the lie anymore. The convoy left the clean city roads and entered rough ground. Streetlights ended. The sky looked wider. Short houses and small kiosks passed by in silence. Dust lifted behind the cars. The police siren stayed off. Only the sound of engines and heavy breathing filled each vehicle. In the first patrol car, Emeka Okoro sat in the middle seat. An officer rode on each side of him. He stared at his hands and said nothing. In the next car, Auntie Ifeoma held a bottle of water and whispered, "Please let us find her." Pastor Daniel sat straight, eyes forward, calm. Chief Nwoke rubbed his head as if it hurt. Behind them, a van carried Ikenna. He looked out the window so he would not think too much. They turned into a compound with cracked walls and a rusted red gate. 2 men stood up from wooden stools, surprised. "A goat," cried somewhere near the back. The police inspector stepped out and showed his badge. "Open," he said. The gate swung inward. The air smelled of smoke, leaf, and something bitter. Inside were low rooms, a shed, and a line with dark cloths hanging. Strange chalk signs marked the ground in circles and lines. Baba Kato appeared in the doorway of one room. His eyes were sharp. His mouth was tight. "This is private land," Baba Kato said. "Who are you to enter?" "Police," the inspector said. We have reports of abduction and fraud. We will search all rooms, Babakato shrugged slowly. Search if you want. You will find nothing. Where is my daughter? Chief Nwoke asked, voice hard. Sir, please stand back, an officer said. They moved through the yard. The inspector pointed. There. A heavy padlock hung on a backroom door. An officer tried it. Locked. Another officer found keys on a low table. They tried one key, then another, then another. Click. The door opened to a small, dark space. A mat on the floor, a thin mattress, a basin of water, a smell of oil and herbs. On the mat lay a woman in a clean dress, hair neatly combed, eyes open but flat. Chioma, Auntie Ifeoma cried. The policewoman checked the pulse. Alive, she said, breathing. Weak Chioma did not speak. She looked past them as if they were far away. Pastor Daniel stepped forward. We take her now, he said. No more delays. Move her gently, the inspector said. He turned to Emeka. You will come with us to make statements. You will not leave our side. Babakato stood still, watching them lift Chioma. His face showed no fear, but his fingers twitched. The chalk signs on the ground looked dead now. Whatever power they had was finished. They carried Chioma to the SUV. Auntie Ifeoma held her hand and would not let go. The gate opened again. The convoy rolled out into the night, back toward the city, back toward truth. The ride to the mansion felt long. Staff stood ready at the gate, with stretchers and blankets. Nurses from a private clinic rushed forward with bags and a small monitor. They moved Chioma to the downstairs lounge, which was clean, bright, and quiet. The nanny took Anna and Chidi upstairs, but Anna peeped through the railings, eyes wet. Vitals are present, a nurse said, after placing a cuff on Chioma's arm. Pulse is slow. Breathing is normal, but shallow. Can she hear us? Auntie Ifeoma asked. She might. Keep voices low, the nurse replied. Pastor Daniel stepped aside to let the medical team work. He did not try to lead. He stayed near, calm and steady. Chief Nwoke sat down and stared at the floor like the weight of the day pressed on his shoulders. The police inspector posted 2 officers at the front door and another at the back. No one gets in without clearance, he said. In the kitchen, Ikenna held a cup of tea he did not drink. He washed his hands again and again at the sink. A steward gave him bread. Eat, the steward said. You look faint. Thank you, Ikenna said, but he only took one bite. At the station, Emeka and Babakato were separated into different rooms. Mrs. Nwoke sat on a bench, shaking. She made calls, but no one answered. A female officer took her statement. Back at the mansion, the nurse placed an IV line. She checked Chioma's eyes with a small light. There are sedatives in her system, she told Auntie Ifeoma. We will flush them out slowly. Please keep the room quiet. Please rest when you can. Can the children see her? Auntie Ifeoma asked. Not yet, the nurse said. Maybe tomorrow for a few minutes. Night dropped over the city. The house glowed with soft lights. Guards walked the grounds in pairs. In the lounge, Pastor Daniel prayed in simple words. Give her strength. Give the doctors wisdom. Give this house peace. No shouting, no drama, just steady, clear sentences. After midnight, Chioma's fingers moved. At dawn, her eyelids blinked more often. By afternoon, she turned her head, and there was a tiny frown on her face, like her mind was trying to come back. Water, she whispered, on the 3rd day. The nurse lifted her head a little and hauled her take small sips. Auntie Ifeoma held her other hand. You are home, she said. You are safe. Chioma's voice was thin. Where are my children? They are here, Auntie Ifeoma said. You will see them soon. Chioma closed her eyes, and a tear slid down. The house took a long, quiet breath. Life had entered the room again. By morning, Anna and Chidi stood in the doorway with the nanny. They wore clean clothes. Anna held a small drawing of a house with 4 stick figures. "Can we see Mommy?" she asked. "2 minutes," the nurse said. "No noise." They came in. Chioma turned her head. Her eyes were clearer. When she saw them, her lips shook. "Anna, Chidi," she whispered. Anna ran to the side of the bed and stopped when the nurse raised a hand. "Gentle," the nurse said. "Mommy, we came," Anna said, trying not to cry. Chidi hid half his face behind Anna, but peeked with big eyes. Chioma reached out. Her hand trembled. She touched her hair. "I am here," she said. "I am not going anywhere." The children smiled a little. The nurse nodded, and the nanny led them out after a minute. "You will come back later," she said. Pastor Daniel sat nearby. "Do you know what happened?" he asked softly. Chioma frowned. "I remember being in my car. I remember a smell. I slept. Then, a small room. I could not move. I heard a man chanting sometimes. I could not speak. I wanted to scream for my children. 'You are safe now,' Auntie Ifeoma said. 'We found you.'" "Who did this?" Chioma asked. Auntie Ifeoma and Pastor Daniel exchanged a look. Chief Nwoke came closer. "The police are questioning people," he said. "You do not need details today." Rest Chioma's eyes moved to her father. He looked smaller than usual. She reached for his hand. "Papa," she whispered. He took her hand and bowed his head, shoulders shaking. He did not speak for a few seconds. Then he said, "I am sorry I did not stop it sooner. Forgive me." "You are here now," she said. "We will fix everything." News vans waited outside the gate day and night. The company's top managers sent messages asking for guidance. The legal team asked permission to freeze any changes that Emeka had pushed through. "Do it," Chioma whispered to Auntie Ifeoma. "Freeze everything. Stop all transfers. Lock company accounts for review." "Done," Auntie Ifeoma said, already texting the lawyers. In the kitchen, Ikenna tried to leave quietly. He felt he did not belong in a rich house. Auntie Ifeoma caught him at the door. "You are not leaving," she said. "You will eat hot food. You will sleep in the guest room. You will stay until we decide your next step." "I am fine," Ikenna said. "No," she replied. "You are not fine. You are important." He looked down and nodded. For the first time in a long time, someone had made space for him. Day 1, after waking, Chioma could sit up with help. Her voice was still weak. The nurse gave her simple soup and water. She slept often. Anna brought the drawing back and pointed to each stick figure. "This is you," she said. "This is me. This is Chidi. This is Auntie." She had left Emeka out. In the evening, the police inspector visited. He stood at the door so as not to tire her. "Madam, we found strong signs of planning," he said. "We will give you a full report later. For now, please rest." "Thank you," Chioma said. Day 2. Chioma walked a few steps with the nurse from the couch to the window. She looked at the garden. Security guards walked the fence. Staff spoke quietly. The house was working like a small, careful machine. "Did the investors hear?" she asked Auntie Ifeoma. "Yes," Auntie said. "They are worried. We told them the CEO is alive and recovering." "Good," Chioma said. "I will send a short note tomorrow." Day 3. Chioma held a short meeting in the lounge with 2 top managers and the legal advisor. "Freeze all changes made in my absence," she said. "Call the board. We will meet soon. No press interviews. We will show strength with clean actions, not talk." "Yes, madam," they said. After they left, Pastor Daniel spoke quietly. "The court will start soon," he said. "You will need to be ready for questions." I will answer clearly, Chioma said. No long stories, only facts. In a corner, Ikena fixed a broken outdoor light for the guards. He did not say he could do it, but he could. A staff member watched him, surprised. You know wiring? The staff asked. A little, Ikena said. He tested the switch. The light came on. The guard smiled and clapped his shoulder. That night, Chioma tucked Anna and Chidi in their beds for the first time since she returned. You will sleep, she said softly. I am home. I am not leaving you. She stayed in the doorway until their eyes closed. Downstairs, the police inspector called. Madam, court dates are set, he said. We will brief you in the morning. Thank you, Chioma said, steady now. She looked around her house. It was still hers. Her children were safe. Her mind was clear. The fight had moved from the grave to the law. She would meet it there. At the station, officers typed, printed, and filed through the night. Emeka Okoro sat with a lawyer. Baba Kato sat alone, staring at the table. Mrs. Nwoke cried off and on. She kept saying she knew nothing. No one believed her yet. The police inspector briefed his team. We need clean evidence, he said. No mistakes. Technicians pulled phone records. They found repeated late-night calls between Emeka and Baba Kato in the week before the funeral. They followed a large money transfer from Emeka's personal account to a name linked to Baba Kato's nephew. They pulled location data from Emeka's car. It showed the car parked near the witch doctor's compound the night before the burial. At the mansion, 2 officers took Ikena's statement. He spoke slowly and clearly. I sleep under the old bridge, he said. A car was parked there last night. I heard Emeka's voice. I know his voice from TV. He said, no church, no pastor, the charm will fail. An older man answered him. He said, come early. Bring the clothes. We close the casket fast. No anointing. Why did you decide to speak up? An officer asked. Because a woman was about to be buried, Ikena said, and 2 small children would lose a mother. The officers wrote every word. They took the clothes Chioma wore in the small room and sent them for lab tests. The nurse gave a report on sedatives found in her blood. The amounts matched forced calm, not medical care. Back at the station, Emeka said little. His lawyer told him to be quiet, but the timeline grew solid without him. Calls, money, location, witness. In the morning, the inspector met Chioma in her lounge and summarized. He did not list every small thing. He picked the strong points. We have enough to proceed, he said. Court will look at facts and at your testimony. Thank you, Chioma said. She signed a short company memo to freeze unauthorized changes and to notify the board that she would attend a limited session soon. She did not mention her family. She did not mention magic. She kept to business actions in writing and saved the rest for court. Outside, the city buzzed. People sent clips of the funeral on their phones. The open casket, the shock, the police cars. The name, Chioma Nwoke, trended for the first time in days, not with grief, but with fight. The case had shape now, and it was moving. 3 days later, Chioma entered the company boardroom with Auntie Ifeoma, the legal advisor, and 2 senior managers. The board members stood up. Some looked ashamed. Some looked relieved. A few looked nervous, unsure which way to turn their faces. Please sit, Chioma said. Her voice was clear. We will be brief. She placed a file on the table. These are the changes made while I was missing, she said. We will freeze all of them today. No transfers, no policy shifts, no new signatories. Any staff who signed under pressure will be protected if they come forward now. A director raised a hand. There was a letter from Emeka, he said carefully. He said you approved moving some units to him because of your health. I did not approve, Chioma said. If anyone has my signature on such documents, present them. We will send them for forensic review. No one moved. Good, Chioma said. She turned to the legal advisor. File the freezes in court today. Send notice to all banks. Investor Relations will send a short statement. The CEO is alive. Operations are stable. Internal reviews are active. No interviews. No gossip. Yes, madam, the legal advisor said, already writing. A young manager swallowed. Madam, some staff are scared, he said. They think they will be blamed. No one will be blamed for being afraid, Chioma said. People will be blamed for crimes, not for fear. Tell them that the meeting ended in 30 minutes. Clean. Firm. Auntie Ifeoma squeezed Chioma's hand as they left. You did well, she said. I will do better, Chioma replied. We are not finished. Outside, cameras waited. Security formed a wall and moved her to the car. Inside the car, for 1 second, Chioma closed her eyes. Then she opened them. Home, she said to the driver. That evening, the police inspector called. Court opens tomorrow, he said. You will sit in the front. Answer only what is asked. We will do the rest. Understood, Chioma said. In the children's room, Anna placed a drawing on the wall. She added one more stick figure this time, smaller and far away. She did not label it. She only looked at her mother and hugged her tight. Tomorrow is a hard day, Chioma said, but we will be okay. Anna nodded, serious, like a small adult. We will be okay, she repeated. The courtroom was full before 9 a.m. Every seat held a face turned forward. Reporters sat in a tight row, pens ready. The judge, a calm woman with sharp glasses, took the bench and banged the gavel once. Court is in session. On the left sat Emeka Okoro, suit pressed, eyes flat. Beside him sat Mrs. Nwoke, lips tight. On the right sat Baba Kato, hands joined, eyes hard. Behind them, officers stood straight. In the front row, Chioma sat between Auntie Ifeoma and Pastor Daniel. Chief Nwoke sat a step back, watching his daughter with a heavy face. Ikenna sat 2 rows behind, hands on his knees, trying to disappear into the seat. The prosecutor stood. My lord, he said, this is a case of abduction and conspiracy by a husband, a stepmother, and a witch doctor. They kidnapped Chioma Nwoke and prepared to bury a lie. He held up a photo from the funeral, the golden casket, the white cloth. The moment before it opened, they used charms, he continued, so that a banana tree log inside the casket looked like Chioma's body to the crowd. The rule set by the witch doctor was simple. No pastor, no prayers. If a pastor prayed, the illusion would break. The judge nodded for him to continue. At the burial, the prosecutor said, Pastor Daniel prayed. The charm broke. The log was exposed. Panic followed. That shock led police and family to the witch doctor's compound, where they found the victim alive, weak, and sedated in a locked room. He placed documents on the table. We will present phone records, bank transfers, and location data tying the accused together. We will present the funeral video that shows the moment the illusion failed. We will hear the testimony of Ikenna, who overheard key parts of the plan and risked his life to stop the burial. The defense lawyer stood. My lord, we reject the idea of magic in a court of law. There is no such thing. The prosecutor stayed calm. Call it illusion. Call it trickery. Call it fraud. He said, it worked until it did not. The facts are the same. The victim was alive and hidden. A log was placed in her casket, and prayer at the funeral broke what the accused relied on. The judge raised a hand. This court will hear facts and direct evidence, she said. We are not here to explain charms. We are here to decide crimes. Proceed. Thank you, my lord, the prosecutor said. He turned toward the gallery. We call our first witness, Ikena. Ikena stood. His legs felt heavy, but he walked to the stand. He lifted his right hand for the oath. His voice was soft when he spoke, but it did not shake. My name is Ikena, he said. I sleep under the old bridge. I heard two men in the car. One was Emeka. One was the older man who is here. They said no pastor must touch the casket, or people would see the truth. The courtroom leaned forward as one. The wall clock ticked. The case had truly begun. The prosecutor walked slowly to the center. We will show the funeral video, he said. A screen faced the judge and the gallery. The clip started. The golden casket, the tense crowd. Emeka blocking any pastor from speaking. Then Ikena shouting. Then Pastor Daniel arriving, the anointing, the lid opening. Gasps filled the courtroom again as the image froze on the banana tree log wrapped in burial clothes. Pause, the prosecutor said. He pointed with a pen. This is the moment the illusion failed. The plan depended on no prayer. When prayer came, the trick broke. The judge nodded for him to continue. He called a police analyst. She explained phone records between Emeka and Baba Kato at late hours for several nights. She showed location data, placing Emeka's car near the outskirts compound the night before the funeral. She held up bank statements showing a large transfer from Emeka's account to an account tied to a relative of Baba Kato. The documents were stamped and signed. Next, the nurse who treated Chioma took the stand. She spoke calm and clear. Madame had sedatives in her blood, she said. There was no medical reason for those levels. She was not being treated for an illness. The pattern suggests she was kept quiet and weak. Was she close to death? The prosecutor asked. No, the nurse said. She was weak, but stable. With rest and care, she improved within days. Did she look like a person who should be buried quickly? He asked. No, the nurse said. There was no need for any burial. The gallery murmured. Pastor Daniel was called. Did you force your way to the casket? The prosecutor asked. No, Pastor Daniel said. Family members asked me to pray. I poured a small amount of oil and said a short prayer. When the lid opened, everyone saw what was inside. The defense tried to object. This is not science, the lawyer said. The judge kept control. We will focus on actions and outcomes, she said. The outcome is on the screen. Finally, the prosecutor called Chief Nwoke. He confirmed the family's confusion at the funeral and Emeka's insistence on no church. He confirmed finding Chioma in the locked back room at the compound. His voice shook when he said her name, but he did not cry. He kept to facts. The prosecutor closed his folder. My lord, he said, the picture is clear. The accused planned to remove the victim, make the crowd believe she was dead, and rush the burial. They depended on no prayer. When prayer came, the lie fell apart. The judge wrote a few notes and looked up. Defense may cross-examine, she said. The defense lawyer stood, buttoned his jacket, and walked toward Ikena. You sleep under a bridge, he said. You do not have a home. You do not have a job. Is that correct? Yes, Ikena said. You live by asking for help, the lawyer said. You could be lying for money. I am not lying, Ikena said. I want nothing. You recognized Emeka's voice in the dark. The lawyer pressed. How? I have heard him on TV and at public events, Ikenna said. His voice is strong and clear. He argues with drivers. People know his voice. You are not a sound expert, the lawyer said. No, Ikenna replied. I am a man who listened. The defense moved to the police analyst. Is location data always exact? He asked. It is as exact as the device allows, she said. It placed the car near the compound for over an hour. Could someone else drive that car? He asked. Yes, she said. But the phone records show calls from Emeka's phone during that time to Babakato. The pattern matches the plan. The defense tried the nurse. You do not know when the sedatives were given, he said. I know the levels when we tested, she answered. They were consistent with continued dosing. Could prayer turn a log into a body? The lawyer asked, with a small smile. The nurse frowned. I am a nurse, she said. I do not explain illusions. I explain health. The woman was alive and hidden. Some people in the gallery nodded. The defense finally turned to Pastor Daniel. Did you come to the funeral to show power? He asked. No, Pastor Daniel said. I came because the family asked me to pray. That is all. The defense lawyer paused. He looked at his clients. Emeka stared at the table. Mrs. Nwoke looked at the floor. Baba Kato rubbed his hands together and glanced at the door. Then the judge. The lawyer tried one last angle. My lord, there is no science for illusions in this court, he said. There is fear, there is rumor, and there is a family fight over money. We ask that you remove any talk of charms and judge only by law. The judge replied, we will judge by law. The law looks at acts. The acts shown are abduction, deception, and a plan to bury a living person by using a trick. Whether you call it charm or fraud, the act stands a thin crack open then. Emeka shifted in his seat. He whispered to his lawyer. The lawyer shook his head and whispered back. The judge watched them, silent. The prosecutor stood again. We request a brief recess, he said. We have one more motion. The judge agreed. As the court broke for 15 minutes, a low buzz filled the room. The case was tilting. It was not yet over, but the ground under the defense was not steady anymore. When court resumed, Emeka looked different. The mask of calm had slipped. Sweat formed at his hairline. He whispered again to his lawyer. The lawyer's mouth formed a tight line. The prosecutor rose. My lord, the state requests to recall Emeka Okoro for questions, he said. The judge agreed. Emeka walked to the stand. He took the oath, eyes on the floor. Mr. Okoro, the prosecutor began. Did you want control of Nwoke Holdings? No, Emeka said, but his voice was too fast. Did you meet Baba Kato in the week before the funeral? The prosecutor asked. Silence. Answer, the judge said. Yes, Emeka said. What did he promise you? The prosecutor asked. Emeka swallowed. He said the log would look like her. He said, if no pastor went near, no one would see the truth. He said the crowd would believe, and the burial would be fast. A soft gasp ran through the gallery. Why did you accept? The prosecutor asked. Emeka stared at the wall. Because I wanted more, he said. Shares were not enough. I wanted full control. The prosecutor turned. Mrs. Nwoke, he said, did you push for this plan? She shook her head too quickly. No, she said. I wanted more school fees for my children. I wanted respect in this house. But I did not plan a crime. Did you say the burial must be fast and quiet? He asked. She looked down. I said we should not make a big noise, she whispered. Baba Kato, the prosecutor said, did you take money to prepare this illusion? Baba Kato raised his chin, then lowered it. I took money, he said. I prepared it. I told them the rule. No prayer, no church. If a pastor prays, the image will fall away. So you expected a quick burial with no church and no inspection? The prosecutor asked. Yes, Baba Kato said. The judge leaned forward. Where was the victim during this time? She asked. In a back room, Baba Kato said. We kept her quiet. The judge's face did not change, but the room felt colder. The prosecutor asked his last question. Mr. Okoro, do you accept that your actions led to abduction and to a planned false burial? Emeka closed his eyes. Yes, he said. Nothing further, the prosecutor said. The defense lawyer tried to patch the damage. He spoke about pressure. He spoke about fear. He spoke about family tensions. But the words floated and fell. The confessions were already in the record. The plan was already clear. The judge looked at the clock. We will return tomorrow for closing and judgment, she said. Court is adjourned. People stood slowly, as if each was thinking about what could have happened if Ikenna had not shouted at the grave. The next day, the courtroom filled again. The judge entered. The hall went silent. She opened a file and spoke in a firm, even voice. This court has heard testimony and seen evidence, she said. The victim was alive and held in a locked room. A banana tree log was placed in her casket. The accused relied on a condition. No prayer, no pastor. Where prayer came, the deception failed. The police followed that failure to the place where the victim was kept. She turned a page. Emeka Okoro, you admitted meeting the witch doctor. You admitted paying for and accepting an illusion designed to fool the public and the family. You admitted wanting control of the company. You are found guilty of abduction, conspiracy, and attempted fraudulent burial. You are sentenced to life imprisonment. A low cry came from the back. The bailiffs kept order. Mrs. Nwoke, the judge continued, you pushed for a fast burial and supported the plan. Your role aided the crime. You are found guilty of conspiracy and aiding and abetting. You are sentenced to 15 years imprisonment. Mrs. Nwoke covered her face and shook. Baba Kato, the judge said, turning to him. You took money, set up the illusion, and kept the victim hidden. You are found guilty of abduction, conspiracy, and fraud. You are sentenced to life imprisonment. Baba Kato stared at the floor and said nothing. The judge paused. This court also recognizes the courage of Ikenna, who stood up in a public place and spoke. Without him, a crime would have been completed. The court thanks him. She looked to Chioma. Madam, you showed strength and clarity. You kept to facts. You protected your company and your children. This court wishes you healing. She struck the gavel once. Court is dismissed. Officers moved in. Handcuffs clicked. Emeka lifted his eyes toward Chioma as they led him away. She did not meet his gaze. She held Anna and Chidi close as Auntie Ifeoma wrapped an arm around her shoulders. Chief Nwoke stood by, quiet, like a wall that would not fall this time. Outside, cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions. The family did not answer. They got into the car and closed the doors. The noise stayed outside. Inside, it was quiet. Anna held her mother's hand and did not let go. Back at the mansion, the first day after judgment was slow on purpose. Chioma ate breakfast with Anna and Chidi at the long dining table. The children laughed at a small joke about pancakes. For the first time in weeks, the laughter sounded like it belonged in the house. Later, Chioma called Ikenna to the study. He stood near the door, unsure. The room had polished wood shelves, a soft rug, and a neat desk with clear files. You changed our story, Chioma said. You spoke when others were quiet. I want to change yours. I want you to live here for now. I want you to work with our security and welfare teams. We will give you training, ID, and a salary. No more bridge. Ikena's eyes filled, but he did not cry. I do not know how to live in a place like this, he said. You will learn, Chioma said. Everyone learns. You already started when you fixed the outdoor light. He smiled a little. Yes, madam. She signed the papers. A driver took him to a clinic for a full checkup, then to a guest house on the estate. A wardrobe arrived with simple, clean clothes. A trainer from security met him and spoke with respect, not pity. At the company, legal confirmed that all unauthorized changes were frozen. Audit started a clean review of the weeks she was missing. HR set up a support line for staff who felt shaken by the case. Investor Relations released a short update. Operation stable, leadership steady, internal controls improved. Chioma met with her father in the garden. They walked slowly beside the flowers. We will set new rules for family visits, she said. No one enters without my approval. The children will have a counselor. You will have a driver from my team. I want peace. I agree, Chief Nwoke said. I will follow your rules. In the evening, Pastor Daniel visited. He did not stay long. He prayed 2 minutes for the home and left with a smile. Night came. Guards walked the walls in pairs. Ikena sat on the guest house bed and looked at the neat room. He ate his dinner from a tray, then folded the blanket and unfolded it again. He checked the watch the security team gave him. He was on the schedule now. He was needed. Upstairs, Chioma tucked Anna and Chidi into bed. This is our house, she said softly. We will keep it safe together. Anna nodded. Chidi nodded. 3 heads on 3 pillows. 3 slow breaths. The house held them. And this time, it felt right. 2 years passed. The mansion was quiet and bright on a Saturday morning. Chioma dressed simply. She told Auntie Ifeoma she would be back by noon. A car took her to the city prison. She carried nothing but an ID and a small card. In the prison chapel, rows of plastic chairs faced a plain wooden cross. A guard led Emeka in first. He looked older. He walked slowly. A moment later, Mrs. Nwoke entered, hands folded, face thin. They sat apart. Baba Kato did not attend. He refused the invite. Chioma stood in front. There was no crowd, no press, no camera. Just 3 people and a guard by the door. She spoke clearly. I came to say 2 things. First, I forgive you. I forgive you so that my home is not heavy. I forgive so my children grow in peace. This is my choice. Emeka looked down. I do not deserve it, he said. She continued. Second, you will serve your sentence. That is the law. I will not change it. I will not write letters to reduce it. That is my boundary. You made your choices. Now you live with them. Mrs. Nwoke started to cry. I was wrong, she said. I wanted more. I lost my mind. I hope you find your mind again, Chioma said. Use the time to think and to change. She placed a small card on a chair. It had the name of a prison counselor and a program for study and work. If you choose to use this, use it well, she said. If not, it is still your choice. She turned to leave, then stopped. There is one more thing. My children will not visit. They will know the truth in simple words. They will not carry fear. No one argued. There was nothing to say. Back at the mansion, Anna and Chidi were in the garden, kicking a soft ball across the grass. Ikena stood near the gate, in a clean uniform, greeting staff with a nod. The house felt safe and alive. Chioma joined the children. They chased the ball. They laughed. The sky was clear. When they got tired, they sat on the steps and drank cold juice. She looked at the faces and felt steady inside. If you were in Chioma's place, would you forgive or would you refuse? Tell us in the comments and say where you are watching from. You might just be the one we give a shout out to in the next video. Bye for now, and God bless.